Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Cepeda. We are here today because, one, Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles talked today, but they talked about how much they love our main man, Darnell Mooney, and why we think that he is going to have the most improved season in 2022 amongst not only Chicago Bears, but in the entire NFL. I mean, Justin Fields obviously is also going to be in that, but in regards to someone that isn't named Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney is going to be the guy. He's the only wide receiver locked in with a contract this upcoming season with the Chicago Bears. He already has a relationship with Justin Fields. He's already impressing coaches and the front office. What more do you want from this guy? But Tony, before we talk about the Moon Man, before we begin, I've said that 3 times now. I'm just very excited to talk about this. If you had a choice between only putting ketchup on your hot dogs for the rest of your life, that's including ball games, or you can never have anything from Lou Malnati's again, including the wings, thin crust, deep dish, salad, anything, even the new tiramisu that is unbelievable, by the way. What are you choosing and why?
Wow. I mean, I thought you were going to frame it as just deep dish, because then I would have, found the loophole of thin crust. But their pizza's too good. You can't give up Lou's. I'd rather suffer through ketchup on a hot dog, which, isn't that bad if we're going to really break it down. Lou Malnati's, Lou Malnati's is king. Lou Malnati's is always the bang for your buck. I mean, there's far worse things I would rather do to keep Lou Malnati's in my life. Let's put it that way. So
just putting it all out there for all of our Sox fans that if the MLB plays the season this year, if you see Tony at guaranteed rate, you better look at his hot dog because it's only going to have ketchup on it. So just want to put that out there. Tony, let's hit on a lighter subject and a more exciting subject for this upcoming season. Let's talk about the Moon Man and how he is going to be putting on a show for the Chicago Bears in this upcoming season.
Yeah, absolutely. So he already has taken a nice little step from 2020 to 2021. And I think we could all agree he will take another, if not even bigger step this upcoming year, especially as he gets more time with Fields and he gets time with an actual real head coach and real offensive coordinator. So in 2020, Darnell Mooney was targeted 93 times, 61 catches, 631 yards, 10.3 yards per catch for 4 touchdowns. And in 2021, he was targeted 140 times. So it's a big increase. They already trust him more. I know it's a different quarterback, probably in a little bit of a different offense. Not really, because Nagy just kept it all the same. 81 catches. Not 800 catches, 81 catches, 1,035 yards, over 1,000 yards, 13 yards per catch, and again, 4 touchdowns. But I think we could all agree that it might as well be 50 touchdowns. Bears offense.
That's someone with the name of Matt and Nagy's fault.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then here's a couple of advanced stats for you as well. So in 2020, he had 4.2 yards after catch per reception. It's one of my favorite stats. And in 2021, he had 4.7 yards after catch. So that just shows that he is getting more yards, like I said, just after he makes the catch. So he is working downfield, and that is cool to see. In 2020, at 54.1% of his catches went for first downs. And in 2021, 60.5% of his catches went for first down. So that means they are targeting him in more important situations. Again, he's getting downfield more. And in general, he is probably just fighting for those extra yards, having that awareness on the field of where the first down marker is. And then my final stat for you here, Nick, and then I'll let you talk, is 2020, Darnell Mooney had 781 snaps, which was 73% of the available offensive snaps that he could have taken. And in 2021, he had 986 snaps he was on the field for, which was 88% of the available offensive snaps he could have played, and obviously barring injury, etc. So just that usage rate is so much higher. And again, he is just that important to this team. He has to be on the field. Those are my stats.
And he also gave a lot of opportunity for the Bears, especially when Allen Robinson was out with COVID, when he was out battling injuries. Darnell Mooney was the guy they were throwing to. I mean, for some reason, they were throwing to Jakeem Grant over, a few other veterans that we had on the team. But, Darnell Mooney is the guy moving forward. The Bears also, Ryan Pace was considering that he could be the GM again, and he was kind of probably talking to Nagy, being like, hey, I need to see this guy play more in order to make the decision on who's going to be wide receiver one. Absolute clowns. I think they should have used Robinson more. I think he went from 151 targets to 154 targets to I think it was like 66 targets in 28 and this past year for Allen Robinson. It just shows that the Bears were always just messing with him. So I don't blame him for wanting to go. Best of luck to him. But if he comes back, I hope it's for cheap, and I hope it's in a lot better situation. Let's go to the type of player that we think Darnell Mooney is, though. And this is what I'm putting him in comparison to. I see a lot of Deshaun Jackson in him, just his playing style. He's built exactly like, I mean, look at the like lanky arms, the lanky body. Jackson isn't like super tall. He's not short by any means either. You know, Mooney's 6 foot, you know, a little above 6 foot with cleats on, but his explosive style, like Deshaun Jackson, is exactly who the Bears could use. And he hasn't had the opportunity to really show that. You know, when Mooney can get into open space, it's game over for any defender. Mooney's going to be gone. And, you know, he's proven that a few times, minus when he's had to trip or dive for overthrown or underthrown balls. Like, it's just not accurate. But you have Justin Fields, who is one of the best deep ball quarterbacks, if you can believe it, in the NFL this past season. So I think it was a certain percentage of your passes had to be deep ball passes. He's one of the best at them, especially at threading the needle. So Darnell Mooney in wide open space and accuracy of Justin Fields could be an absolute, you know, target. And you can see, so even though he's built and has the playing style of Deshaun Jackson, you can see a lot of maybe like how Luke Getsy used Lazard last year, or Cobb, or, you know, some of those guys that were in the Packers that just broke it open. Find Darnell Mooney doing that. And we've said, and you can go and check out our free agent wide receiver episodes a few episodes back. You can see that, you know, he's probably not going to be wide receiver one strictly because of his size, but the threat of him is going to be just as significant as wide receiver one. And again, usually they have 2 wide receivers out. I don't get why they don't do wide receiver 1.1 and then, you know, wide receiver 1.2, because there's always 2 on the field. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But Tony, before we go any more into the final section about Darnell Mooney, did you even hear that the Bears, because we've been talking about Luke Getsy, did you even hear that Bill Lazor was released, that he went anywhere else? I feel like it was just kind of like, if Nagy's going, he's automatically going with him.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, you know, if the puppet master walks out of the building, you know, he brings his sock puppet on his hand with him. He's not going to leave his hand behind, you know? So yeah, no, of course. Now that you bring it up, I really do not remember if they ever mentioned it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Definitely just assumed.
I literally do not remember like ever seeing it. And we hit on.
He could still be with the Bears. I have no idea. He could still be secretly.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a secret, maybe.
He could be like an assistant or something. I don't know. He's not the offensive coordinator anymore.
No, maybe he's the bathroom attendant now. You know, just kind of pointing out, you know, where to go. Kind of, he just sets things up, but he lets everyone else, you know, actually run the plays. And he's just a puppet for, you know, the head coach.
I literally don't see anywhere. I just typed in Bill Lazor news, and the newest thing is Matt Eberflus not calling plays on defense is a wide, like, what? I don't even know. I don't even know what is. So I don't think he's on the Bears. That's all I got to say. And we could confirm that later. Make sure you check us on Instagram. I think that'd be a good segment for us to post on there. But Tony, last thing we want to go to, and, you know, kind of what we hit on earlier, is why we think that he'll be the most improved player in 2022, not only for the Chicago Bears, but potentially in the NFL. Just number one is Luke Getsy as a whole. I mean, he will make Mooney into a beast, kind of what we were hitting on earlier, depending on how we use him, with his explosiveness, with his size, with his ability to catch the ball. And especially, I mean, he owns ankles. I mean, you know, Darnell Mooney's got a closet full of just players' ankles, like molds of them made, and been like, from this game, it's like his own trophy case. So he knows that, and Getsy knows that it's the only established relationship in the locker room with Justin Fields, besides Cole Kmet and David Montgomery. But wide receiver wise, it's the only established one that is currently in the Bears locker room, and they're working out together already. So Getsy knows that, and Getsy is going to expand the field and make sure that Mooney is for sure a lock, and he focuses a lot of time and energy to make sure that that connection is real. And that's what I respect. A lot of guys like, I want a whole new offense for my scheme. Nope. He is working with what the Bears have right now, and he likes what the Bears have. And I think that's what Ryan Poles kind of had to do with Matt Eberflus, to be like, hey, this is exactly what, you know, we have. Can this work for you? Yep, sure, no problem. Also, Darnell Mooney wants to show he's the real deal. You know, we've only seen flashes of him, and the flashes are very impressive. And, you know, we've always seen flashes because of Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor. Bill Lazor more so is just guilt by affiliation. But, you know, it's just, it is what it is. And he knows that Fields can be a great quarterback. Darnell Mooney, I'm talking about. And he knows that he can be a great wide receiver. Why not do it in Chicago? Why not start that duo, that dynamic duo that Bears fans have really never been able to experience besides maybe Alshon Jeffrey, Jay Cutler, or Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler. So, you know, Tony, any last thoughts before we close out?
I just completely agree with you. I think that was a great point you made about Luke Getsy, though, too, where he's actually working with what the Bears have, not, trying to move everyone around to these pieces. So, you know, he's he's buying an old used car and he's not expecting it to run like a Ferrari. And that's exactly what, and not that Darnell Mooney can't run like a Ferrari. It's just, they could definitely just triple team him with what this Bears offense has. So it will be cool to see him run a bunch of different concepts, I imagine, with assuming we do kind of get a bigger wide receiver. I think we talked about this, where it'll probably be a lot of Darnell Mooney crossing stuff or underneath stuff with the big guy going over the top, and really just make the defenders choose who they want to cover. And Darnell Mooney, we've seen, is good enough where it's a mistake if you don't cover him. Yeah, it's just straight up a mistake if you don't cover him. Fields is going to have a great year with him. He trusts him. He's going to keep working with him. And I think, you know, they might tie for 2022's most improved player of the year. Because, I mean, all the touchdowns are going to be to Mooney, and, you know, that's how it works, right?
40 touchdowns instead of 4. I know what you're saying.
Exactly. Add a 0 to the end of that. Exactly. Yeah.
So with that, that's why we think Darnell Mooney will be the most improved player on the Bears offense this year, if not potentially in the league. So stay tuned for that. We're very excited, and you should be too. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside Tony Cepeda, and we'll see you guys next time.